Hi and welcome everyone. My name is Dominic. I'm one of the co-founders of Five, and today I want to show you how to use Five to build a MySQL database. Now you can see right here that I'm currently on try5.5eu.dev. If you haven't signed up for a free trial for Five yet, you can do so. Simply go to our website on five.co and click on any of these sign up buttons, and then once you've signed up, you'll have access to your own personal cloud development environment, the same way that I do today. Now I'm going to close this again and let's go ahead and log in. All right, so I'm just going to use my control user right here and I'm going to sign in. And now I'm inside the Five development environment. So you can see right here in the top left corner that I have a button here that says applications. So I'm just going to click on that and you can now see my list of applications right here. For today, we want to build a new application with a new database. So I'm going to click on this yellow plus button right here and I'll give it a name. Let's go with Northwind because we'll be building the Northwind database, which is a popular learners database. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we can start developing our application. So what happens next is that you can see this manage button right here. So we're going to click on manage. And that takes us into the development of our Northwind application. Now, just to very quickly give you the background on this database that we want to create today, if you go ahead and Google Northwind database schema, for example, and you click on images, you'll find all of these different schemas for the Northwind database. I'm just going to select one of them at random. Let's go with the first one right here. And let's take a quick look at the schema. So you can see that the database overall consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different tables. Today in this video, I'm not going to create all of these tables, but I'll show you how to create 3 of them: categories, products, and suppliers. And I'll do all of this inside of Five. Essentially what we're doing is we're creating a MySQL database that consists of these 3 tables. So let's go ahead and go back into Five and let's click on data right up here. Now what I want to do today is I want to use the table wizard. The table wizard is just an easy and quick way for me to create tables inside my MySQL database. So first up, remember Five builds a MySQL database for you. So let's go ahead and click on table wizard and let's create our first database table. Now, the first table that we are building today is the supplier table. So just to confirm that this is indeed what we want to do, here it is, suppliers, and suppliers have a company name, a contact name, and a contact title, and a couple of other fields. So let's just select a few of these at random. So we're going to go with company name, with address and city. So to add fields to my database table, I can click on plus right here. And as said, I'm just going to go with 3 fields out of this table with the company name, with the city, and with address. All 3 of these fields are text fields, so we don't need to change the data type. We could if we wanted to. Five gives us pretty much all of the MySQL data types that you would expect, whether you're dealing with floats, with integers, with passwords, or with simple text fields. You can simply select what you need right here from the data type lookup. So we'll stay with text. Size has already been pre-filled to 255, so that looks good. And you can also see that Five has selected a display type for each one of these fields, which matches our data type. So these fields, once we put them into our front end, they'd be displayed as a text field to our users. So we don't need to make any changes right here. We can simply go ahead and click Save. And that's it. Now Five is asking us whether we would like to add any data into this table. We're not going to do so right now. We're just going to click on Save right here again. All right, now we have created our first database table, and now let's move on with table number 2, which is the category table. So I'm just going to give it a name again. I'm going to call it category. And categories have two fields, let's say. They have a category name and a description. So let's go with name and let's go with description. And again, we're just dealing with text fields. So again, I don't need to make any changes here. I could have made one of these fields an image field, and I could have stored the image as a binary inside my database. So to do that, I simply would have selected binary right here, and then I could have selected picture right here. And I would have been able to store images inside my database. Now for today, I'm just going to stick with these text fields. So let's go ahead and save this. And again, we're not making any table upgrades, so we can just click on save right here. All right, in less than 2 minutes, we have created 2 database tables. How do I know that I have created these tables, that I've successfully created these tables? Well, I can click on Data Database Modeler right here. And that takes me into my database modeler, and I can see my 2 tables right here. I have my supplier table and I have my category table. Now, one important thing to note is that Five has actually added primary keys into each one of these tables for me. So you can see right here I have a supplier key and a category key in each one of these tables. This is my primary key as indicated by the key icon right here. So I do not need to add these keys. I do not need to add any primary keys as long as I'm using the table wizard. Five will add the key field automatically for me. And the moment that I create a new record inside my database, Five will also generate a primary key for each record automatically. So that I don't need to worry about this part. I could also make changes to these tables, by the way, inside the database modeler. So if I wanted to add a new field to the category table, I can simply click right here. If I wanted to delete the table, I could do this right here. If I wanted to make changes to an existing field, I can double click on it and I can then make changes to it. Now, I don't need to make any changes, so I'm just going to click on done and that's it. All right, so let's move on and let's add our third table, which is the product table that you can see right here. Now, the product table is an interesting table. I'm just going to zoom in on it a little bit because it actually has a relationship to both suppliers and categories. So you can see right here that I have a product ID, which is the product table's primary key, but I also have a supplier ID and I have a category ID inside my table, which are the foreign keys coming from my supplier and category table respectively. So let's see how we can build the product table and how we can create this relationship between these tables inside of Five. So first up, I'm going to go back into Five. And again, I'm going to go into my table wizard, which you can find right here. And I'm going to create a new table. So this one will be my product table. So let's give the product table a couple of fields. Let's see, let's go with 3 fields. So we have a product name right here. We will come to the foreign keys in just a second. So we have a product name, a quantity, and a unit price. So let's just go with name, quantity, and price. So first up, name, which is a text field, quantity. Now quantity is a number, obviously. We're expecting a numeric value. And Five switches that over automatically into an integer. So that works fine for me. And last but not least, I'm expecting a product price. So let's put price right here. And once I'm dealing with prices, I'm dealing with floats. So I'm just going to change it over to float. And you can see that Five suggests a display type of float too. Now I can actually make this a currency. So I'm just going to select currency right here. Don't worry too much about display types. We'll speak more about these later. For now, just follow the steps that you see right here. And as I said, I'll speak a bit more about display types in one of my other videos. Now I can actually delete this 4th field right here because I'm not going to need it. But if you want to add more fields into any of your tables, simply click the plus button up here and you can add more fields, as many fields as you need to. So I'm going to delete this one right here. Now, I'm not going to click save just yet. Instead, I'm going to click on the next arrow, the right arrow right here. So let's click on next. And now Five asked me whether I would like to establish any kind of relationships for this product table. And the answer is yes, I do. I would like to add two relationships to the table. So I'm just going to click on plus right here, add relationship. I'm going to click it twice because I need two relationships. I'm first going to select my category table because I know that one category can have many products. I have a one-to-many relationship between products and categories. And again, I'm going to do the same for suppliers. So I have one supplier can supply many different products. So again, I have a one-to-many relationship between supplier and products. I could make these required or parent tables. I'm not going to click any of these boxes today. They're not really necessary. So instead, I'm just going to click on Save right now. And again, 5 asked me about a table upgrade, which I can ignore for now. I'm just going to click on Save. Perfect. I have just added my third table into my MySQL database. Now let's go back into our database modeler and let's take a look at what we've done so far. All right, here's what I have. I have 3 tables, and let's try to change the look of this diagram to something that resembles the image file that we've been working with as inspiration. So we have category, product, and supplier. And here we have categories, products, and suppliers. Now, I prefer my table names to be singular. That's really up to you what your naming convention is. But overall, my database and this database schema look a lot alike, right? I didn't add all of the fields, but I have my 3 tables and I have the relationship as is shown inside the schema. And you can see right here that I have a one-to-many relationship. If you zoom in on this line connecting the table, you can see how this line expands as it goes into products. You can now also see that the category key and the supplier key have been added as foreign keys into my product table. So all of this was done automatically as I established a relationship between products, suppliers, and categories. And that's pretty much all that I need to do to create a MySQL database inside of 5. Now I'm going to show you a couple of other features of 5 that you can use when it comes to working with data. Now, first up, if you click on data and you click on tables, you can see all of your tables, your database tables right here. Now, you can also find a button up here that says import CSV into table. When you click this button, you can actually upload a CSV file. Now, I don't have a CSV file ready just now, but you could import data from a CSV file into a database table. If your CSV file column names are the same as your field names inside your database, 5 will automatically map your CSV to your database table, and the data will be imported into the right database fields. So a really easy way to import data. So simply select your table up here, choose a CSV file. You can decide to replace existing data if you want to, and you can import data into your database. Now, one other feature of 5 that comes in really handy when working with data is this one right here. You can actually write SQL statements. So if you click on data and then you go into queries, you can write SQL the same way that you would in any kind of SQL or SQL GUI. So if you click on plus right here, you can then give your SQL statement a name. Let's say I wanted to do a select star from products. So I'm just going to go with all products. And then I click on this field right here that says click to add. This is going to take me into my SQL statement designer or SQL query designer. What I can do right here is I can select from my tables. So you can see right here I have a supplier category and product table. So let's go with product. And I could then say, all right, please give me all products. So I'm just going to choose product names. I could give them an alias. I could add modifiers if I wanted to. For example, I could do a count of all the products inside my database. I can decide how to sort my products, whether I would like to sort them ascending or descending. And I can actually add where criteria if I needed to. So that's just a really simple way to design an SQL statement visually inside of 5. Now you can also see that I have a SQL tab right here at the top. So let's click on that. and let's see what happens. Basically, the SQL that I designed right here inside the designer is now translated into actual raw SQL. So if I wanted to write a proper SQL statement, something that's a bit more complex than a simple select statement, I could actually write SQL right here. So you can see this is a simple SQL editor, and I can write any kind of SQL statement. However, whatever I need, I can write it inside of 5. Let me just delete this where clause. You also have a run button up here, which lets you run your SQL statement or run your SQL query, and it then returns the results to you. Now, in my case, I haven't uploaded any data into my database, so not surprisingly, no records are returned. But of course, if my database contained any data, I would actually be able to see that data right here, and I'd be able to test my SQL query inside of 5. All right, I'm gonna cancel all of this as I'm not storing my query right now. So let me just go ahead and cancel again. But you can pretty much see how I can use 5 to create a database, to create database tables, to establish relationships, to import data, and to write SQL queries right inside of 5. And I'm doing this entirely inside my browser. I don't need to download any software. I don't need to establish any database servers. I'm doing everything inside my browser, and I'm pretty much doing everything in point and click. However, if I would like to write SQL, I could write SQL. So that choice is entirely mine, whether I want to use code or whether I want to do things inside of point and click. Now, once I have my database established inside of 5, I could actually build an entire web application on top of it. And that web application could contain forms, it could contain charts, it could contain data views, it could even contain PDF reports, all of which I can build and develop right inside of 5. Most of this happens without writing code, but again, I have the choice to write code if I needed to. So 5 almost always lets me decide how I want to approach my application development, whether I want to do it inside of code or whether I want to do it inside of point and click. So that choice is entirely yours. Ultimately, once I'm done with my development project, I can build an entire web application that is supported by a custom database right inside of 5. And I can deploy it to the cloud, and again, entirely from inside of 5. I don't set up any servers. I don't need to manage any cloud infrastructures. I can do all of this inside of 5. Everything is pre-built, so I don't need to worry about any of this. And this is pretty much all that I wanted to cover in today's video. Just a quick introduction into the data layer right here inside of 5. As I said, you can sign up on our website for a free trial, and you can give this a go. You can build your own database, you can import data, and you can go ahead and start building applications. If you need any help at any point, make sure to visit our documentation, which is available on help.5.org. So I'm just going to open this up right here. So that's the URL, help.5.org. Or you can visit our forum on 5.org, and you can ask questions, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can in case you have any problems or you encounter any obstacles. Simply ask a question here, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you find this video helpful. As I said, if you have any questions, please get back to us. Enjoy, happy coding, and see you soon.